expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, 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 ask Elaine.
Oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Ask Elaine. We are so happy to have you there listening. Those of you who are listening on 980 AM, 107.9 FM, if you're on Facebook Live on The Glory, or if you're listening in by any other medium, we are just happy to have you there. Those of you who have questions or who have comments, if you'll call us at 478-250 1444. We would be glad to hear from you. And as usual, we appreciate all the comments that we and questions and information that we get here on Facebook Live. So those who are in the chat with us, please include your information. We have a very special show today. We have some special guests for you. First of all, I want to thank all of our sponsors, Senator Lucas, the Middle Georgia Informer, Sheriff David Davis, and we're hoping that he's improving. He's down with with leukemia. He's fighting that valiant battle with leukemia. He's going to come out okay too. We want to thank former Mayor C. Jack Ellis, who we understand is going to be announcing very soon that he'll be running for an office. So you'll get a chance to see what that office is and everything. But anyway, we thank him for his sponsorship. We thank my sister Beverly with Glory Baking Company, and soon she's going to be involved in credit repair. So we're going to have her on and talk about that. But this is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you once again to Ask Elaine. Does anybody having allergy problems other than me? I swear, this is the worst. I don't know what the trees are putting out or whatever is happening, but it's just giving me a fit. But anyway, you don't complain. You go ahead and take whatever it is that relieves, and so we're doing that. But we are going to continue with our mask too, because not only does it help to protect you from being infected with COVID, but it's going to keep some of those irritants out of your nose and eyes and all of that. So also will help to keep you from getting a cold or flu or other viruses from other people. So just keep that in mind. This thing is not over yet. This pandemic is not over yet. There are still people who can be infected and people who are being hospitalized, and we're still losing some people. So It's not where we were 2 years ago or a year ago, but we're still not out of the woods. So we want to, but we are so happy to have you there. So please take note of the information that we share, and we hope that you trust us enough to believe that what we are giving you is true information. So we have with us a special guest, a partner in crime, if you will. She is none other than Baldwin County Commissioner Emily C. Davis. And how fitting to have her on as an elected official, as a community leader in Baldwin County and all over the state of Georgia during Women's History Month. And we read and proclaimed that last evening at the county commission meeting, but it's Women's History Month all over the country. And so we want to pay special tribute to women who are holding up the sky. And they certainly, we talked, Emily, last week about women in the church and how if all the women left the church, there was some men that said, I'm going with them.
That's a wise man.
Women do provide that support. And so during this month, and we're not just going to designate this month or celebrate Women's History Month just this month. We're going to do it year round, just like we do the King, Dr. King, and also Black History Month. You can have a month if you want to, but it's going to be Black History Month year round for me. I don't know about anybody else, but I would suggest that. So we have Baldwin County Commissioner Emily C. Davis. We also have on the phone none other than Dr. Jimmy Smith, who is our administrator at our Macon-Bibb County Board of Health. And so we are real happy. Are we going to have him on the screen, Mr. Engineer? Dr. Smith, are you there? Dr. Smith? Maybe our engineer can do anything. He'll get it straight for us so that we can hear. Because I know there were a number of people who wanted to hear some health information, especially coming from our administrator at our health department. We want to welcome Jeanette Goff. We want to welcome Sherry Shannon, also Dr. Mary Butler. We want to welcome and Sandra Mathis. These are our tried and true folks who are here every week for Ask Elaine. So, Dr. Butler is saying a special hello to you.
I see that.
You can take your mask off too while you're in here if you like, unless there's something you need to tell me.
No.
Okay.
Can I clean this mic off?
They've replaced the cover.
Okay.
They replace it after each.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now you can see our county commissioner, Emily C. Davis. Emily ran for office and was elected after her mom's service as a county commissioner. Her mom served as a county commissioner after her father served as a county commissioner. So this is a legacy. The Davis family in Baldwin County. So, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Commissioner Lucas, for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and we want to celebrate you as a very strong female leader, not only in your area but all over this area and over this state, because you've been on this battlefield a long time. Did we get Dr. Smith? because Emily also serves. I serve on our Board of Health here in Macon-Bibb County, and Emily serves. Aren't you on your
I've
Board of Health?
I'm not on it now, but I was on it for
She's
years, a number of
formerly,
years.
yeah, formerly a long-serving member of the Baldwin County
Mhm.
Board of Health, and so we were all going to discuss issues involving health care, what our health department offers. And I'm just going to go ahead and talk with Emily about some issues. Pastor Lisa is on, and she's saluting you during Women's History Month. We want to salute all of the ladies who are on with us on Facebook Live and all those who are listening, um, because women hold up many of our institutions. Pastor Charlotte Smith is on the line. Pastor Pastor Smith, Pastor Smith. Okay, and I believe she is calling in because there was an unfortunate death of an unarmed, I believe, an unarmed gentleman, black man, by police
Mhm.
in Roberta. And there are lots of efforts to get to the bottom of it. The family wants to know what happened. And we all want to know what's happening. And there are a number of events that are being planned to commemorate this person, this man, and also to find out what happened. Um, I know some local people who are related to the gentleman who was killed are concerned and want to know what's going on. Do we have Pastor Smith on the line?
I am on the line. Let me
All
in.
right. Welcome to Ask Elaine. Thank you so much for calling in. Tell us, I've been trying to fill the audience in on what the issue is, the untimely death of another black man, and the family and others wanting to know what happened, why it happened, and what can be done about it. So I'm going to let you go ahead and explain any other details that you need to share.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Lucas, for having me as a spokesperson for the family and for the community here in Crawford County, Roberta, Georgia. I am Pastor Charlotte Smith. I am the pastor of Good Tidings of Great Joy Ministries. I am the founder of a domestic violence outreach, Eden Joy Outreach Ministry, both based in Roberta, Georgia. I am also a member of Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network. But
Mm-hmm.
more than that, more than all of those titles, I was born and raised in rural Roberta, Crawford County, Georgia myself. And like I say, I am a spokesperson for the family of Mr. Dendrick Stallings, who was killed by a Crawford County Sheriff's officer. Mr. Stallings was a lifelong citizen of rural Roberta, Crawford County, Georgia, and he was murdered on Sunday, January 9th of this year after being shot to death. And just to give you guys a brief rundown, and I'm not going to be long, the officer claims that he attempted to stop Mr. Stallings in a traffic stop, but a pursuit ensued, and Mr. Stallings crashed his car. The officer further claims that he tased Mr. Stallings, and when the officer tried to arrest him, that Mr. Stallings reached for the officer's weapon. We are told that Mr. Stallings was shot 4, possibly 5 times in the posterior backside of his body while running away. This is not that officer's first murder within Crawford County. In fact, he killed another citizen in a similar manner back in 2020, and this is his third time shooting someone. As a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, he wasn't with the sheriff office a month again before killing Mr. Stallings in January. The local
Mm-hmm.
media there in Roberta has attempted to assassinate Mr. Stallings' character by uncovering his past. But what
Mm-hmm.
they don't mention is that he was a husband, a father, a grandfather, a son, an uncle, a nephew, a cousin, and a friend who served in the United States Marine Corps, receiving an honorable discharge. And he was buried on January 15th of this year with full military honors. So we stand and we are standing behind the family to demand accountability and seek justice, because we are his voice, because he no longer has a voice. We are a community crying out for justice and accountability.
Yeah.
Rural Parker County, Georgia, maybe a town of maybe less than 1,000 people, but we are standing up, and we want people to stand up with us and stand behind us. And because we are God's people, and because we do all things with love and in the love of Christ, decent and in order, we ask for everyone to remain calm and peaceful in our quest for accountability and justice. We will be having a balloon release in honor of his birthday coming up on Saturday, March 26th at 1 p.m. in Roberta at the David Bailey Park there in Roberta. It's in the center of town. We will have Black Lives Matter there. We will have Black Voters Matter there. We are expecting Trayvon Martin's mother. We are expecting Michael Brown's father. We will have praise and worship, food and fellowship, and all of this stuff is free. But we want the public to come out and support this mission, because that's what it is now. It's a mission in an effort for us to get justice and accountability, and not only for Mr. Stallings, but for any other injustices that has happened to our people and others
Right.
that deserve this.
Yeah. After a while, you just get tired of being tired of so many of our folks being killed. Now, I don't know all the details concerning this particular case, so I can't speak on, who did what. I wasn't there. But I do know that people have a right to know all of the details when anything happens in their community, and especially to their loved ones. So we support the efforts of the folks in Roberta to get to the bottom of this issue. We know that there are a lot of Black folks that are getting hurt and killed all over this country. I was watching MSNBC the other night, and over in Ukraine, where they are being attacked and killed off by Russians, being surrounded, and the intent is to kill them all. There are Black folks, students who are studying in Ukraine. There are some families that live there, whether it's temporary or permanently. They're being discriminated against because they're not being allowed to get on some of the trains to get out of there, because the folks are saying that these trains are to get native Ukrainians, or whatever you call them, people of Ukraine, citizens out of Ukraine. Now, everybody is under siege, under attack, but you still can discriminate against Black folks because of the color of their skin. Now, have you heard of anything more asinine than that? All of you trying to avoid getting killed, and you take the time out to not allow the Black folks to get on the train so they can get out of Ukraine too. So you can't tell me anything about discrimination. I remember a documentary a few years ago, and it was from England, done in England, and there was a man there who was critically ill, white man, and they asked him, if you need blood and it was a Black person's blood, would you accept it? He said no. And so I said to myself, let his blank blank just go on to wherever. It's a special place for ignorance like that. But that's discrimination. That is how people feel about us, and why it is. It's superiority and trying to be superior to someone else. And that's how you can mistreat people. And I certainly think that there is some wrongdoing in your case, Pastor Smith. And we just encourage you to stay with this and do all you can to get to the bottom of it. And if there's wrongdoing to that officer be held to account for his misdeeds. We want to thank you for calling in, and you have an open invitation to call in next Wednesday and remind us again of the events that are going to be taking place leading up to the end of March event. So thank you so very much.
Ask her for that date and time again.
Okay, Pastor Smith, are you
Yes,
still there?
it's going
Okay,
to, yes,
go
it's
ahead.
going to be Saturday, March 26th at 1 p.m. And the address is 322 Wright with a W Avenue there in Roberta.
Okay. All right. If you have an
My phone
opportunity,
number,
well, what I wanted you to do was to add it to the comments here if you're on Facebook Live.
yes, I sure will. I'll add the flyer
Okay.
there.
That will be great. That will be great. And please, once this program is over, if you would please share it and keep in touch with us so that we know every day what's going on with this. The young man, Johnson, down in Valdosta,
Mhm.
who was found rolled up in a mat. Now, how do you get rolled up in a mat?
Yes, and Miss Elaine,
Those are cases that are still out there that there's not been a resolution to it. So it is just terrible that these things are happening, but we can't let them slide. We can do our part. And those of you who are not registered to vote, it's time for you to get registered. Don't talk to me if you're not registered to vote, or please don't tell me that you're not, because I just think that that's just sorry. If you can't get yourself registered to vote and do your part, you don't have to get out and march. You don't have to do anything. You can get registered to vote, and people are trying to keep you from voting, and you are playing into their hands by not registering and not voting and not doing the things that you can do. Thank you, Pastor Smith. I'm sorry. This thing is really bugging me. But we're going to do our part by getting the information out there to as many people as we can. And thank you so very much for what you're doing.
thank you
Okay.
so much. And we are expecting Kendrick Johnson's mother as well on that.
Yes,
So thank
yes,
you
yes,
guys.
yes, yes, yes. And we're going to try and see if we're available through GABIO, the Georgia Association of Black Elected Officials, and then GABCO, which is the Georgia Association of Black County Officials. We're going to see if we can't get this information through to those organizations and see if we can't get some more people to come and support you. We want to get to the bottom of this. Thank you so much.
You guys have a good day.
All right.
Thank you.
All
You're
right.
awesome.
That is, oh, I tell you, it's those people today, but it could be you tomorrow. Could be you tomorrow. And you would be calling up everybody that you could find to try and get some help because you knew that you were done wrong if you survived, if you were if you were lucky enough to survive. But there's still a lot of hate in this world, still a lot that's going on. You have to protect yourself. We have to band together and work together. Is Dr. Smith on the line yet? Dr. Smith. Okay, we will continue trying to get him in. And if you have a call, have a question or a comment that you want to make concerning healthcare, we would appreciate you either putting it in the chat, or you can call us at 478-250-1444. You've tuned in to Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to the program. Thank you so much for your concern. This is your news, talk, and information program. We are very pleased that we have so many people who are tuning in the different media, and we thank you all for being there. Kimberlyn Carter is with us, and she says legendary Emily Davis. Kimberlyn is also one of our spotlight women for Women's History Month and all year. And Kimberlyn is doing a fantastic job. She's going all around trying to get those people who are inclined to serve their communities, because I hope y'all know that we can't serve forever. You wouldn't want us to do that. So we've got to have some other people coming along who will run. We've got some school board seats that are going to be on the ballot. And the election is May, y'all. May. And qualifying, I believe, is it April, Emma? March. It's this month. And so then the election is in May. There's an election then. And so we just need to be ready. And if you're going to run, if you want to run, if you're interested, you need to be in touch with Kimberlyn Carter. We have a caller. Welcome to Elaine.
Yes, I'm Larry Dunning.
Pastor Dunning, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Great. Welcome to Ask Elaine. We have none other than Baldwin County Commissioner Emily C. Davis on with us this week.
Okay, I got one ear on the radio. I need to step away from it, don't I?
Yes, you do, sir.
Okay, this. Okay, I hear your voice better. You are my favorite public official in the whole wide world. I've searched the world over.
You're gonna make me blush today. Can y'all tell I'm blushing? You can tell on Emily. You can't tell as well on me. But I'm thrilled. I am so honored that people allow me to represent them. It's about service to me, and I'm not scared
to even want to represent us over and over again. But I would like to say a couple of things. I used to work for the Georgia Public Health, and I got a chance to do a lot of the program, food services, on-site wastewater treatment, licensing wells. So I've done the whole gambit. I was actually considered the indoor air expert for District 5-2. So I have some interest, and I did that in my former life. But I want to say we need to keep on getting the word out. Health education is so important. And I love the fact that you took the time to let this be one of your subjects. And you've always been focused on the community. And we just need more education. You can't get enough. People are taking medicine because they don't understand. If you miss a day, you may not be able to double up, you know?
Yeah.
But health education is key, especially to our community.
You're right. And we're hoping to get Dr. Jimmy Smith on connected today so that he can tell us our status as far as COVID infections, how well people are doing with the vaccinations. The numbers are better. They're not where they need to be. And we were going to ask him to tell us now. I understand the school system is going to be going to a policy where parents can choose to allow their children to wear a mask or not. I just think that's just playing with fire. That's just me.
I know.
And I think everybody ought to continue wearing masks whenever they are around other folks, because this stuff is not over. We are doing better. We're doing better, and I applaud everybody, but we're not out of the woods yet. There are still people getting infected. People are still passing away. And so we still need to, and just as soon as Emily and I get off the air, we're going to have our masks. We're going to put them right back on. Emily went to sit up here with hers on during the interview. I've got mine right here that I'm ready to put back on when we finish.
She's just being protective because my philosophy is error on the side of caution,
That's right.
and that's why they call. I used to work for the Environmental Protection Agency. That's why they call it EPA. It's protection. We just want to protect our environment and protect our public health. And the more protection, the better.
Right.
You do so much better on the prevention end than you do on the reaction end.
That's absolutely right. Pastor Dunning serves as our co-host on Ask Elaine from time to time too, and he's phenomenal. Another thing that we want to say about him is that he used to work for Macon Bibb, and he was in.
Hallelujah.
He's saying hallelujah. He's no longer used to, but they did it wrong. Former mayor recommended, his termination and all of this stuff. And we were just so shocked because we knew that Pastor Dunning was an exceptional worker and had kept us, on safe grounds as far as our waste disposal and all of that. But Pastor Dunning sued Macon Bibb County.
Good.
And I was so happy to be in the room when we were discussing, settlements and all this sort of stuff. And I was real happy to say we did him wrong. He needs to be compensated. And so I don't know how you were compensated, Pastor, but I think you were compensated right. I think they had to do you right because in front of the jury, you would have they would have just opened our county coffers and let you pick out what you wanted. But they did you wrong.
Now, that could be arranged, but no. But
hey, we settled now. We can't go back.
No. I'm saying I'm glad you're in the room because I learned a long time ago. Anything over zero is still a blessing.
Yeah.
You take him over a few things.
Well, yours is way over zero.
Yeah, and I would say this too. Now, my struggles in life, everyone I got, I was able to pass that blessing on to somebody else. In my church, there have been so many people laid off for different reasons, and because I have experienced that myself, I can really help them. It's not over. Yeah. It's going to be a bump in the road, and you're going to go through this bump, and you're going to be better on the other end. So
you need to think about there are going to be some vacancies on the commission. Some of us are term limited. And in the next 2.5 years, we will rotate off. We will not be able to run for re-election. That's me. That's Commissioner Watkins. That's Commissioner Tillman and Commissioner Jones, Mallory Jones. So 4 of us will rotate off through term limits, which was a part of consolidation, y'all. All of it.
I understand, but
so we need some people to run. That's my point.
Yeah, listen. I'm going to respond to what you just said by saying that is so depressing for one person on the board. We will do ourselves a disservice if we don't have Elaine Lucas somewhere in the government.
Well, so you know what? I'm going to be looking around to see what comes available. And I never say never that I won't run for anything. I used to say, no, I'm not going to run for anything else. Yeah. I'm going to look and see. It just depends on whether people are serving in their capacities that they've promised or not. And then if there's somebody that's doing more harm than they are good, and I'm eligible to run, I might just
look around.
I might have to have my cane and my wheelchair.
You're healthy.
In and out, but
don't prophesy like that. Listen, I want you to keep on saying I'm gonna look around because I'm gonna pay for your contact lenses. If it takes glass, I'm gonna pay for that. If it takes some binoculars, I'm gonna pay for that. If it takes a telescope, I'm gonna pay for that. But look around.
Pastor, thank you so very much. We always appreciate your call. We appreciate your well wishes. Emily, do you know he's a baker too? He bakes delicious pies.
It's okay.
I have had the privilege of tasting them, or
so
treating
kind.
some of them. So he is a wonderful person, and then continues to help to take care of his family and his mother, who is
Yeah,
ill.
that's where I am now.
Yeah.
Miss Davis,
Yes, sir.
I'm just a reflection of Commissioner Lucas. I try my best in a masculine way to be like her.
Well, you are copying a unique fine person.
Happy Women's History Month to
How
all
old is your
of
mother, Pastor?
That's my last point. I won't hog your time.
How old is
I
your
did
mother?
not know. Huh?
Pastor.
I didn't.
Emily is
Yeah.
at Commissioner Davis is asking how old your mom is.
Mom is 91 years old.
91. And Emily's mom just turned
95.
95.
Oh my God, you're so
That's
blessed. Oh God,
blessings.
Mhm.
Blessings.
keeping her
Yeah.
here for a reason. Huh? That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. But I do want to say something because you mentioned women. I didn't know that was a thing as a Women's Month. When did that
Yeah.
start?
It's Women's History Month, started yesterday.
And I mean,
It's
when
the
did it
month
start?
of March.
This is the first year.
Mm-mm.
Sir?
No,
It's
it's
the first
been
year, no.
years. It's been for years.
Yeah. Just about every
Nobody
month
told
has
me.
a focus. Like next month is Hispanic History
Mm-hmm.
Month.
I didn't
And
know
we're going to
that.
be
I gotta
talking
check that.
about our Hispanic. We have significant Hispanic population in Macon and Bibb County that we need to recognize and try and team up with so that we can get
Okay.
more. You can get a whole lot more done. Blacks are already in the
That's
majority
right.
in Macon
That's
and Bibb
right.
County, but we can be stronger because there are efforts to dilute our strength, and we won't go
Preach.
vote like we should. So we need to hook up with the Hispanics and the Asian populations, the
That's right. That is
African
so true.
populations in our community, and we all need to work on making progress and having representation in place that handles our needs, that's
Right.
concerned and sensitive
I
to the
agree.
needs
I
of
agree.
the
We need to work
underserved.
together. Yeah. Can I say something else on the women's? I didn't know it was a Women History Month. That's the first time I've heard this in my life.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
will say something. I must be prophetic because I did Bible class at noon today, and I talked about Esther, and I'm
Oh,
gonna carry
yeah.
on Sunday, and the subject is courageous faith. Esther
Oh,
in the Old Testament.
all
So
right. Now you got some more to add
listening
to it.
God.
You
in,
what?
in view of Women's History Month.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna take up all your time. It's always a pleasure
Thank
speaking with you and being with you. You take
Thank
care. Take
you.
care.
It's our pleasure, and we
Commissioner
do
Davis
appreciate it.
too. Yes, you too now.
All right. You take care and
Thank
give
you.
our best to your mother.
I sure will.
All right.
All right.
We want to say hello. Thank you, Pastor. We want to say hello to some of our other special guests. My sister Nita is listening in. She's a big fan of Ask Elaine. We have Joyce Gray Humphrey, who is one of our super volunteer board members for EL High School Academy, and she is listening. Mary Jane Glover, who's a retired educator from Southwest High School, who taught just about everybody in Macon Bibb County because they all say you were my teacher. Everybody, they say, oh, Miss Glover, you were my teacher. So we want to, and Sherry Shannon Miller, we want to express appreciation to them for volunteering to support EL High School. And Emily is on our board of advisors too. She's been on there a number of years. They help us to keep it together and make sure that we are continuing to work with and support our students in getting their high school diplomas. They also work to help recruit students. So if you want to get your high school diploma, come see us. We will be glad to work with you and accept the credits that you already have, and then plan a schedule for you to work and get credit for the remaining courses that you need, and then you will march in a formal ceremony. You'll meet many of the people who support EL High School Academy. You'll have your family there to see you reach that milestone. So if you're interested, call us at 257 6767. That's the number for EL High School Academy, 257 6767. If you're interested in working toward earning your high school diploma. We're going to get to our special guest over here. What's going on in Millersville and Baldwin County?
Well, we are trying to become a GIC certified community. And for those of you that don't know, it stands for the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on that.
What would that do, Emma?
Bring housing for people that's less fortunate. Affordable housing
Mm-hmm.
for people that
Mm-hmm.
have to live in apartments and tiny homes,
Right.
that type thing.
Okay.
And in addition with that, one of the people on the GIC committee is a professor at the University of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2 Saturdays in February, he brought his class to Millersville. They looked at my district mainly to see what we can do to start, and they're working on grants through the University of Georgia, along with getting us GIC certified.
Mm-hmm.
So that's working out to be a twofold type thing.
Yeah,
So that's
wonderful.
it's going to be great. Those students, they had a lot of questions and a lot of good ideas, and we also just built a new roundabout, our first roundabout, and the county built it. It took 7 weeks, and it cost the county $170,000. Now, if GDOT had done it, it would have taken a year and a half to 2 years, and it would have cost $2 million.
Yeah.
So if anyone in the market
sounds about right.
So if anyone's in the market for a roundabout, hey, we're in Baldwin County. We're also looking at staggered terms, where some of my commissioners are looking at staggered terms. And so we briefly discussed.
That's where a portion of your commissioners would run at one year, and then you would have others that would run at a different time, because y'all are like we are. All of our commissioners run at the same time,
right,
for every district.
Right.
And so you could have a completely brand new commission at any given election time.
So, and we last night it was discussed. Our chairman discussed going with the school board. Districts 2, 3, and 4 for school board will be coming up, because school board is staggered. Will be coming up in 24, and well, all of us will be up in 24. But commissioner districts 2, 3, and 4 will run for 2 years, and commissioner districts 1 and 5, which is I'm 1, will run for our regular 4-year term, and then in 2 years those districts will come back and have to run again. Or someone new run again.
Well, that's something to be discussed. There are pros and cons.
Yes. We also have 7 or 8, maybe more by now, unsolved murders. And it's just really, we've had meetings with the DA and law enforcement trying to see what's going on with the gang activity, all the violence in the communities, and trying to work out some things. And so
the legislature, one of the committees, or it might have been the Senate, passed yesterday in Georgia, the legislature passed the bill where people won't even have to get a background check or anything. They could openly carry a gun. And there are already so many out there. Until this will be the wild, wild west. And even some of us who have a problem with it, if everybody else has a gun, They can openly carry it. And I just really resent it when I see somebody walking around with a gun, around me.
In Walmart.
And they're just so proud of it, slapping on it and all of this stuff. It makes others say, well, I better get me one too. So I just think it's a dangerous direction. I really do. And I think you need to have a background check. What's wrong? Why would you let someone who's mentally ill be able to get a gun and carry it around? Why would you want to do that? Why would you not want a background check? It's ridiculous to me.
It really is.
But that's the Trump era of allowing the bad stuff just to
happen.
Yeah. So y'all can tell us what y'all think about these things that we're discussing. 478-250-1444. This is Ask Elaine. This is your Talking Information radio program, and we're just so happy to have so many people listening in. We understand that our numbers are growing, and we really appreciate that. We love bringing this information, and we hope that every week you learn something that you can take and use. We have with us this week Baldwin County Commissioner Emily C. Davis, who is a longtime elected official serving in the tradition of her father and her mother, who served as county commissioner for District 1 prior to her service. Emily serves as the treasurer of GABIO, the Georgia Association of Black Elected Officials. And I think she knows everybody in the world, because you go somewhere that you've never been and everybody knows Emily, or she knows everybody. And one other thing, we want to thank her for her support of Senator Lucas. Most of you know that yesterday the courts found that those terribly gerrymandered, wrongfully drawn districts were approved. The court let them stand. And so Senator Lucas has picked up a whole new county. The Republicans gave him Johnson County, home of D. Herschel, the one who's running against Reverend Warnock for our senator from the state of Georgia, the one who doesn't really live in Georgia. He's in Texas, but he had some property here. So Trump talked him into running against Senator Warnock. But anyway, David Lucas has had Johnson County added to his legislative district. And you know what that's about. They've added that for the same reason that in District 3, where I ran, there were significant numbers of Republican population areas added to the district. It didn't work, but we've got to make sure that it doesn't work with Senator Lucas, that he maintains that strong leadership there. But the idea is to flood a district, to add to a district population that they think won't vote for that Black elected official, as a way of defeating them. And that's what this is about. This is about Republicans maintaining control of everything that they can. Your vote, your life, the money, anything and everything. And so you can sit back and let it happen. The only way that we can keep this stuff from happening is that we vote, and vote in huge numbers. And we want to thank those who are on the chat. Pastor Lisa, Susan Smith is on. We got Dr. Butler and a number of other folks who are on with us. And thank you to all of those who are listening on radio. I don't think we were able to get Dr. Smith connected from the Board of Health. He might have had a meeting to come up or something. But if he isn't able to make it this week, we will get him on next week, and we'll have another woman a strong, involved woman next week on the show as co-host to Spotlight. We're going to spotlight Reverend Mabel Randall, who's a strong woman who is just doing what is right. She's got a really, really strong ministry. And how much longer do we have, Mr. Engineer? Okay. All right. This time goes by so fast, Emily. It really does. But we want to get back to you and let you finish telling us about the kinds of things that you're focusing on in Baldwin County. I remember you were working on a swimming pool. Where is that?
Yes, we still working on that. We applied for some grants and hopefully they will come through. And then we're actually going to do an aquatic center.
Oh,
So
that's great.
So we're working on that. We also on Sunday at 2:00, we're going to have some ministers, husband and wife team coming in from California to talk to our ministers about a program that they've implemented in California. They've been doing it for about 20 years. Our county manager is from California.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is for underprivileged youth. And we want to try to implement this program and have some of the younger Black pastors to be the spearheaders of this program and to have different programs for youth. I'm trying to implement midnight basketball.
That's a wonderful program.
For some reason,
you should be able to use that federal money because we've got some organizations here that have been given grants to use to organize, and it's for violence prevention and all of that's under that either the CARES money or rescue monies. And so it seems to me that you should be able to get it funded through those federal funds.
When you have commissioners that come from different places and don't understand,
it's real hard
where they're living.
Right.
They flew airplanes and,
that's why you have to elect folks who understand you, folks who look like you, who think like you, who have good sense. We just elect anybody sometimes, and because they sound good and they tell us a whole bunch of lies about what they're going to do, and then they get in there and then they're on TV, they like their picture being taken and all of that, but as far as the work, they don't do very much. You don't see any difference. So we got to make sure we know who we are electing to office, question them, and get the very best people, because if you get the wrong folks, it's worse than what you had. It's terrible. So what are some of the other Millersville has a Black female mayor.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
And she has been reelected. She ran without opposition this time, and that is great. And you also have Floyd Griffin, who is a former mayor, Black male, former military. He was former senator, who is running for Secretary of State. And we have had, Floyd has called in to this program, and we're going to have him on very soon. But we have endorsed Floyd, and we're going to support him for Secretary of State. He was just endorsed by former the head of the Senate, and see, senior moment. I can't even remember what you call the person who's in charge. But anyway, the person Mark Taylor, who was formerly in government, has endorsed former Senator Floyd Griffin, and so I just think that's great. I think we've got to get to know. As a matter of fact, Floyd is supposed to be here on tomorrow, I believe, at our Board of Elections, making an announcement that if he's elected, he will place an office, another office a satellite office of the Secretary of State's office here in
Bibb County.
Middle Georgia, in Bibb County. And so you'll want to watch for that. Yes, former Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, May Perry. Former Lieutenant Governor Mark Taylor. Yes, is the Lieutenant Governor is the person who presides over the Senate. Yes. All right. Thank you, Ms. Mathis, and thanks to all of you who have joined us today. We are sorry that we weren't able to get Dr. Smith in place. We will make sure that we find out what is going on. We hope that he's okay and that we will be able to get him on a program. I know some people were wanting to know what our numbers were as far as COVID. I can tell you they're going down.
Yeah, I was down.
They're going down.
But, we still need to be vaccinated though.
Right, we do.
And wear our masks.
We do. I think in the future, we're probably going to get to a point where that's going to be a routine vaccination, just like all the others. And those of you who are doing that talk out there about you're not going to do it, you don't know what's in it, you don't know what's in all that other stuff that you had to take, that your children had to take when they were going to school. They won't let you come into school unless you have that. And I think in the future, that's going to be a routine kind of thing because that virus is not going away and it's changing.
What's in the tea when you eat out?
Exactly. Exactly. That burger that they hand you out the window in that paper that 3 or 4 folks have handled. So we trust that bag of chips that you open up. You don't know what's in that chip. You just trust and then you eat. So for something this important, we don't need to play around. We don't need to play games. I think it's just that important. If you are not registered to vote, Emily, what would you tell people? Please
register and vote. It is so important. You just don't realize how important it is to it's detrimental to us not to be registered and vote.
Right. And there's an all-out effort to keep you from voting. Check the news and check what's happening in Texas. They're rejecting folks' absentee ballot applications. They're rejecting their ballots. And the whole plan is for Republicans to rig everything and win. They can't win fair and square, so they rig it. So the way that you take care of that is to overwhelm them, overpower them by the numbers. And we can do that here in Macon-Bibb County. There are 2 school board seats, both at large, countywide, that are going to be voted on. There are incumbents in those seats. So if you're interested in the school board, you need to check it out. Other seats are up for election this year. May 24th is when we will be voting. So you have to be registered in order to vote. So, Emily.
Yes, Commissioner, if you don't mind, I would like to take a personal privilege moment for us as a race and commend the people in Brunswick, Georgia, for the jury, for their decision for Ahmaud Arbery.
Yes, that won't bring him back, but at least you're saying this person counted. His life meant something, and we're not going to let some thugs and racists take his life and not pay a price for it. So those 3 things will be locked away for the rest of their lives.
Made a great example.
And that is, I think that is very appropriate. Some other people have some other opinions, and but they will spend the rest of their lives in jail. Unfortunately, Ahmaud cannot be brought back and cannot spend a day of his life anywhere, and his family. But the next round of this is the civil case where somebody's going to pay that family for the loss of that young man's life. And so that is the only recourse left now. But I am just so happy to live in a country
Mhm.
where we can make people accountable.
Mhm.
And so our time just goes by so fast, and I think our time is about up,
Right. And
Emily.
mom send her blessings to you as always.
Miss 95-year-old, you should see her mom. She's the sweetest lady, and we just appreciate her and her service so very much. So very much. So I guess that's it for today. We're going to try and go find out what happened to Dr. Smith. We are sure that there was a meeting or something, and we will call on him to join us in a subsequent Ask Elaine program.
And thank my friends for tuning in today. Lisa and
Yeah,
Sherry and the rest of you. I don't want to get
yeah,
into calling names, but thank all of you. Good to see.
yeah.
Good to hear from you. It's been 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah. But on behalf of the folks here at Ask Elaine and WDDO, thank you. We'll see you again next week for another edition of
and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.